Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Jasmine. I am a mom and a wife just trying to figure out life. And today we are going to talk about a major topic. And that topic is weaning your baby from breastfeeding. I have successfully weaned my 14-month-old exclusively breastfed baby from the boob in 10 days. And here is how I did it. And we're going to get into some skincare. So I originally did not plan on breastfeeding my baby. My daughter is my second baby, and with my son, anybody who had a COVID baby knows the stressors of COVID was like, look, let me go ahead and give this baby some formula. And so with my second baby, I had thought that I wanted to do formula, but I had such a great lactation team at the hospital that I felt so informed and empowered that I was like, okay, I'm going to breastfeed. For the first few months, I did pump, and then I realized that pumping was just draining my mental health, my physical health. So I said, okay, let's go ahead and exclusively breastfeed. And y'all, I exclusively breastfed for 14 months. It got to about her first birthday, and that was kind of the milestone where I was like, hey, I am done breastfeeding. I am tired. I want my body back. I'm tired of going out and leaking. I am tired of her crying and my boobs letting down. Like all of the things that breastfed moms understand. But I also wanted to make sure that she had all of the nutrients and things that she needed. So step one is I consulted with her pediatrician, and I was asking her pediatrician, like, will me not breastfeeding anymore impact her growth, her health? And the doctor was like, absolutely not. So once I got that green light from the doctor, y'all, it was on and popping. She had not necessarily not wanted food, but I feel like she was mostly relying on the boob. So the first thing that I had to do was I had to really get in my mind that this was going to be a journey. So I say step one for all the moms out there that are wanting to wean their littles, you have to prepare yourself for the fact that you are taking away the thing that has not only given them sustenance, but also has given them comfort, especially at night, which we'll get to in a second. So we originally thought that she was going to take 2 different types of milk. So we went and we bought Ripple, the pea milk. We also bought almond milk. We bought soy milk. We basically, my son didn't do well with whole milk, so we didn't necessarily want to do that. And honestly, we're not a household who does whole milk. So we made up in our mind that we would give her the calcium and the fats in other ways, like through cheeses and things like that. So we went and stocked up on every type of milk. And day one, we just kind of spent some time in between some of her feedings, like when she would get hungry, if she was eating a snack or anything like that, we would introduce to her those type of milks. And it gave us kind of the ability to gauge what she would and would not like. And honestly, y'all, she hated them all. Seriously, she didn't like any type of milk that was introduced to her. So we quickly decided that we would continue to try, but that wouldn't be our focus. So the next focus was replacing those feedings with snacks in between. So I was nursing her 3 times a day, the first 3 days. By day 4, I stepped it back to 2 times a day. And in place of that 3rd feeding that I usually would give her, and it was just easier for me to replace the morning feeding at first, I would roll out the bed and I would immediately start cooking food. So I replaced that meal with food. So I would make sure that she had a full breakfast. I would make sure that she had fruit, that she had some type of grain, whether it was oatmeal, a slice of toast or something. And then I would also try to introduce her to some type of meat option. So we would do chicken sausages. We would do turkey bacon, really wanting to get in the routine of her being able to eat a whole entire meal by herself. And the first few days, obviously, she was a little bit fussy and a little bit cranky, but I realized that if she was going to learn how to eat and eat well, I just had to keep introducing it to her. So day 3, 4, and 5, like I said, it was more so me still nursing those 2 days, those 2 times, and then going into the meal first thing in the morning. So roll out the bed, meal. Then obviously she would still snack throughout the day, and she would nurse at lunch to go down for her nap, and then she would nurse at bedtime to go down for her nap, right? So we get to day 5. She's doing well with breakfast. She's actually smashing it. She's eating. The plate is clean. Some days it wasn't clean, but she wasn't fussy. So she was able to get up and go play and entertain herself, and we were able to have fun. So by day 6, I was like, okay, let's see if I can remove another feeder. So day 6, 7, and 8, it was the time to introduce a heavier lunch. So instead of just her having a really jam-packed breakfast, I was also starting to incorporate a snack between breakfast and lunch, and that was something super hearty. the stores like Walmart and Target have really, really good toddler items. They have granola bars, they have yogurt milks. But I was more so focusing in on like whole foods. So she would have fruits, she would have some type of like nuts or granola for a snack. And then for lunch, she was getting like a full lunch. She was getting some type of meat option, whether that's chicken nuggets. She loves potatoes, so sweet potato fries that I could cut at home, a baked sweet potato, and then some type of vegetable option. So she really liked sweet corn. She also liked broccoli. So she was getting a well-balanced meal. And then I was also able to introduce her into some like salt-free sauces like teriyaki and things like that. So really wanted to start to build up her ability to eat, right? From there, then she was able to begin to not necessarily need me to nurse her to bed at nap time, because with all of these meals, she's getting water. So she didn't want milk, but she would drink water. And so once her tummy was kind of full with the food, I would kind of top it off with some water. And y'all, honestly, she would let me rock her to sleep and she would go to sleep, because I realized that a lot of the fussiness that she was experiencing was not that she wanted to nurse, is that she was not full. And once I was able to get her food with the whole foods and the healthy foods, oh, she was knocked out, y'all. So nap time became not so much of a chore. And like I said, day 1 through 3, there was a lot of fussiness. We were in the trenches. So gave her breakfast. She started to eat that by day 5. Then day 5 through 7, she started to eat lunch, and she was doing really, really well with that. And so I started to become a little bit more creative with the meals, started to think about different things that I could incorporate into her diet that would fill her up. So we started doing yogurts and different things like that. And honestly, that became our sweet spot. I know as a breastfed mom, oftentimes the struggle is bedtime. And if you have a baby like me, your baby is waking up halfway through the night looking for the boob. So nighttime was a little bit more of a challenge for us, if I'm going to be honest. And this is how I remedied the nighttime blues. At night, she would sit down and she would eat dinner with us. So I would be making sure that the dinner option was something that she could also enjoy and something that she could eat. And so once again, a very, very balanced plate that is going to fill her up. If she didn't eat dinner, because once again, she's a baby and babies do what they want, I will always have a snack prepared for her right before dinner. So after dinner, food would digest. My son would do kind of his bedtime routine. We were playing with her. We do the bedtime routine with her, get her in the tub. The biggest thing at night is that your baby has to learn how to soothe themselves for sleep. And we oftentimes as breastfed moms become that soother for our babies. And so I literally had to, if she was not ready to go down, I had to stay up with her. I had to stay up and do toys, books, bath time, watch Daniel Tiger, anything that would get her tired so that she could start practicing falling to sleep. Not me rocking her to sleep, not me nursing her to sleep, but her literally getting in the routine of putting herself down to sleep. And once we got in the routine of that, y'all, it was so much easier not to nurse her. She literally would play, and it would get to a point where I would notice that she's like kind of fading off. And that is when I just literally would lay her in her bed and she would sleep. She does still wake up in the middle of the night, but it's not necessarily her looking for nursing. It is her kind of like getting into the routine of like putting herself back to sleep. So when she wakes up at night, we just give her water. We have like a little water bottle by our bed. We have one by her bed because we did co-sleep in the beginning. Yes. And so she is kind of still used to us being around her. But honestly, if I give her water at night, let her drink her little water bottle, it's probably like a 10-15 minute wake window. She's able to put herself back to sleep and we're able to put her in the bed. And I just had to practice those things day in and day in and day in. Y'all, day 1 through 3 was so stressful because I do not like hearing my baby cry. So that was like such a stressful time for us both. But once I started to be consistent with Noble, food and water. And she still to this day will like put her hand in my shirt and I'm always like, no. It is just consistency really. So like I said, day 1 through 3, you are trying to test out what she likes to eat, right? You're still nursing. Like I said, those first 3 days, you're still nursing, but you're preparing in your mind, day 4, I'm rocking and rolling. Once you realize what your baby likes to eat, the snacks that they enjoy, day 4, you cut back on one of those nursing sessions. So if you've been nursing 3 times, you're going to cut it down to 2 times, and you're going to introduce a really, really hearty meal depending on your schedule. I'm a mom who works from home, so it was just easier for me to get up because now I'm also a mom whose body is resetting itself, and I am trying to make sure that my hormones are not all over the place. So I need to eat me a healthy breakfast as well. So breakfast was just our sweet spot of me introducing her to a really healthy breakfast. I'm eating a really healthy breakfast. She's drinking her water. She's eating her food. And then we are going to play, right? We're going to play. I'm taking my meetings. I'm getting my work done. That's day 4, 5, and 6. So getting her used to breakfast. Once she got used to breakfast, she was expecting, like, I'm waking up, I have my fruit, I have my oatmeal, I have my XYZ, and she was ready to go. Day 7, you have to start cutting back on that second nursing session, right? I know it's going to feel hard, and I think it's harder for us as moms than it is as our babies, because remember, our babies are used to the routine that we set. So once she realized, okay, not only do I get a really, really good breakfast, but I also get a snack and I get lunch, she was ready to rock and roll. And it was just easier for me to now go out in the day and do the things that I needed to do, knowing that I need her water cup, I need a snack, I need some type of chopped up fruit. She will eat those things as I am out, and I do not feel the burden of having to stop, find a place to nurse, put a wrap over my head. Like, it just was such an easy transition once I got in my mind that I was no longer breastfeeding. So day 7, day 7, 8, and 9, you are sticking to those 2 meals. Day 10 is when I started to transition her into 3 solid meals, right? I'm getting her ready. I'm getting dinner ready. She was ready to rock and roll. She was ready to be prepared to now, as a 14-month-old, she eats 3 solid meals throughout the day. She has 2 snacks throughout the day. She drinks her water. Sometimes she'll take a little sip of her brother's apple juice, but she really is drinking water. Milk did not work for us, and that's totally fine, because like I said, I introduced calcium. Hello, here she is. And she's eating her grapes, y'all. I introduced calcium and all the other things that she needs for milk into other meals. And y'all, look, boom, a grape. She is ready to rock and she is ready to roll. I think the biggest tips are figuring out a cadence that works for you. If you're a mom that's like 10 days seems too short for me, I want to try it to get it done in 2 weeks. Make your own schedule. But the best tip that I can give you is, as you're removing a nursing session, you have to replace it with some type of snack or meal for their body to cue that this breast milk is gone, but I am still getting my nutrients, my vitamins, my minerals, all the things that I need to sustain myself, so that they can then prepare to reset. Their body is going to go through a reset. At night is the hardest. I had to literally sleep in long sleeve shirts with a collar up here. I had to literally, like, when she was going to nurse, boom, here's your water bottle. And those first nights were definitely rough, because she was learning how to self-soothe without the boob. But honestly, like I said, now, last night we were up watching a movie, her, myself, and my husband. We looked over, she had laid down, closed her eyes, and went to sleep, and we just put her in her crib. She woke up around like 2, 3 o'clock, a little bit fussy. We gave her some water. She drank her water. She stayed up, did her little singing, la, 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 for about 15 minutes. And she went back to sleep, and we put her back in the crib. This is a strategy that worked for me. I am a real average everyday mom. I am not getting paid. This is not gimmicky. I am not, selling you a product, but consistency is the product that I will tell you that works. And so if you have any questions, feel free to drop them down below. If you want me to share some of her meals that I've been making throughout the week, I can make a separate video about that. But honestly, y'all, you can do it. If you're a mom like me that got to a point that was like, I love my kids, but I need my body back. I need to be touched less. I need more sleep. I need to be able to go out and run errands and not have to feel like I have to pop out my boob. This one is for you. I hope that the strategies that I suggested work. And like I said, if you have any other questions, definitely comment down below and I will respond as quickly as possible. And thank you all for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.